one's deputy. So the question is, as these two Karnataka heavyweights of the Congress party face off, what may give and who may have to give in first?
Some of them are reporting that I will resign and all nothing. My mother is my party. No question. My high command is there, my party is there, our MLAs are there.
So Siddaramaiah had an hour-long meeting with Mallikarjun Kharge, the AICC president, after which he's now driven down and had separate meetings, first with KC Venugopal, the Congress's General Secretary organization, and also, even as we speak, he's having a separate meeting with Randeep Surjewala, who is the General Secretary in charge of Karnataka. Listening to what Siddaramaiah said after that meeting with Kharge, he seemed a little miffed. We're not quite sure what the reason was, but at least from the pictures that we had and the brief soundbite, it seemed like his emotions were telling on his face.
Sidda sir, you had meeting with Mr. Kharge sir. What the people have decided? What do you want to say? Sidda sir, what do you want to say?
No, I do not want to say anything.
Sidda sir, you had meeting with Mr. Kharge sir. What the people have decided? What do you want to say? Sidda sir, what do you want to say?
No, I do not want to say anything.
He seems a bit miffed, a bit angry, if you will. But let me try and go across to my colleagues, Pallavi Ghosh. She's joining us here in Delhi, and Harish Upadhyaya is joining us from Bengaluru. Pallavi, so Siddaramaiah had an hour-long meeting with Kharge, then separate meetings with KC Venugopal, now with Randeep Surjewala. Clearly, he is, not just making a pitch that he has the maximum number of MLAs backing him, but he's also doing the rounds with these consultations, these meetings. What is his pitch to the High Command that he is the one who's better qualified to be made Chief Minister and not DK Shivakumar?
See, the sense within the party is that Siddaramaiah does have the large number of MLAs with him, and he happens to be a leader with mass appeal and someone who has an experience in governance. I know the Congress has a comfort of numbers, but the Congress also, Zaka, has to deal with the fact that this is going to become the benchmark for the electoral campaign of the Congress party in the other upcoming state polls, which is why Rahul Gandhi stressed on the fact that we have to be on track ASAP. We have to fulfill our 5 guarantees so that we can show to the BJP that we are not like them. And the second important factor is that when they choose a chief minister, they also have to choose someone who can ensure that all the communities get together and they vote for it so that their Lok Sabha performance is also as good as the assembly performance was. There's a sense in the party that Siddaramaiah does have those that edge over DK Shivakumar. Now, these rounds of meeting we are seeing, frankly speaking, Zaka, this is according to plan. This is expected. In fact, in a short while from now, we are told that DK Shivakumar is also expected to have a meeting with Randeep Surjewala. There is likely to be another big meeting tomorrow, which is perhaps going to be the last meeting before the Congress party actually officially announces who is going to be the chief minister.
All right. Let me also get a sense from Harish Upadhyaya, because earlier this afternoon we had DK Shivakumar come and meet Mr. Kharge. That meeting also went on for an hour, after which I believe he's gone off to his brother's home, DK Suresh, and he'll be staying put there. Is he also having separate meetings? And what I'm curious to know, Harish, is it's clear that DK does not have the numbers, certainly not as much as Siddaramaiah has amongst the MLAs. What gives him the confidence to dig his heels in so much?
Well, DK very smartly is not talking about numbers. He's saying that look at Siddaramaiah. He's been leader of opposition twice. He's been a chief minister for full tenure. What has he done for the party? He's a late entrant, that's fine, but what has he done after that for the party organization? Look at my contribution. He's talking about 1999. He says it was S.M. Krishna who was the KPCC president. There was a massive mandate that he got. He went on to become the chief minister. He's saying there are already several instances where the KPCC president has become the chief minister. That's what needs to be considered. He's also saying that Siddaramaiah has got enough chances, and he's sending across a message that whatever the party does now is also a message that's being sent to the party loyal workers, not just in Karnataka, outside as well. He's also played that Vokkaliga card. Even yesterday when we spoke to him, he said, I had appealed to Vokkaligas, the Vokkaliga community, Swamijis and even Janata Dal supporters. They've accepted my appeal. We will have to see what the High Command is doing. So he's playing these 2-3 cards. He knows the numbers are not on his side, so he doesn't want to bring it up at all.
Okay, we'll see which of these yardsticks the Congress High Command goes by. But for the moment, we'll leave it at that. Pallavi Ghosh and Harish Upadhyay for joining us. This is going to be a long night and perhaps a long couple of days because what would have seemed like a straightforward decision for the Congress party is taking days after that historic victory of 135 seats on Saturday. Let's try and put this into perspective. Tom Varakan, spokesperson of the BJP, joining us. Aishwarya Mahadev, spokesperson of the Congress party, will be joining us. Riju Datta of the TMC will be joining the program in a minute. Smita Prakash is editor of ANI, and Nalin Mehta is group consulting editor with Network 18. Aishwarya, in the normal course of things, whoever has support of majority of MLAs, he or she goes on to get elected as the legislature party leader. And in this case, because the Congress is in majority, the de facto chief minister. Why is this taking so long? It's clear, as per numerous media reports, that Mr. Siddaramaiah has not just, it's not a 50-50 or a 55-45 kind of a situation. By most media reports, he seems to have more than 90 out of 135. That's the support of 2/3 of the MLAs. It should be a no-brainer, a straight-up a choice here between Mr. Siddaramaiah and Mr. DK Shivakumar. Why is it taking so long then?
Good evening, Zaka. I remember as of yesterday, almost all of the mainstream media had already declared that a certain person was chief minister until a clarification was given. And I'm sure that all the mainstream media does have a lot of wisdom on what the politics of this situation is. But I'm still going to wait until I get an official communication from the party that says these many votes have been cast, because it was at the end of the day a secret ballot and it is largely speculative. Who may have the votes and whatnot is secondary. And the other thing I will ask you, Zaka, is who set the precedent? Different states have different manners in which chief ministers are being selected. This is not only about MLAs, this is about the entire organization. This is about the leadership. There was a situation in how we chose the party, the CLP leader in 2013. There's a situation that we used in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh as well. It is dependent on what the Congress president at that point, along with the General Secretary organization and General Secretary of the state in charge, feel is pertinent. So I do not understand why that there is this whole set process that somebody is throwing in our face saying this is what you should follow. No.
No, but Aishwarya, one second. What would your argument be? Well, what would your argument be if the High Command were to go with the person who does not have the support of majority MLAs? How will you convince the MLAs that, look, this is our choice?
I am not the person that has to do the convincing, Zaka, but let me just tell you this. The 135 MLAs form one component of the entire process, right? Because they may be the legislators, but there is an entire organization of general secretaries, secretaries, observers, and coordinators that have worked in each one of the 224 assembly constituencies. There are also observers sent from the AICC. There is also a GSO. There are also senior leadership, all of whom are consultatively sending their reports into the Congress president. I believe all of these form important role because each of these MLAs are what they are because of the fact that the cadre and the workers also back them.
Okay.
You saw in certain states
my
that
only sort of limited point there, I think, the MLAs are representatives of the people. The people chose the MLAs, and the MLAs choosing the leader is de facto the people choosing who the leader is. I don't think the workers or the general secretaries necessarily have a say in that. But anyway, be that as it may, maybe in the Congress the processes are different. But Tom Varakan, the point is that why are you begrudging the Congress the 3 days that they've taken? You took 1 week to elect Yogi Adityanath. Similar was the case when Himanta Biswa Sarma was made Chief Minister. It took you days to come to that conclusion. So why are you begrudging the Congress? At the end of the day, the big picture is the Congress trounced the BJP. Today, the Congress has got a historic mandate of 135, and BJP is at a distant second with 65.
Zaka, we have no problem with whatever time they take, but let them come with a chief minister who can govern the state. We have given them a state with a good treasury accounting, and we do hope and pray that the finances of the state are handled properly. Nothing more, nothing more to be said about it. But here we heard the Congress spokesman talking about a particular procedure. I've also been part of that gimmick exercise of selection processes. But ultimately, it is who has the largest number of MLAs that matters.
Yeah.
But then there is this irony that how is a particular person given the opportunity of having larger MLAs? This is something that we have not been able to understand. And as far as DK Shivakumar goes, he's a loyal person and he's not left any party and come back. He has done the hard work, and naturally it is. He's also, he's worked so hard for this. And when it comes to all this activity, because I remember Siddaramaiah at the time, he joined the party at a stage when we were on the same stage when he joined, and he's a person who's joined the party, and here's a man who's given everything for the party, and yet when it comes to the top seat, you have excuses because you know that he was not given an opportunity. If he wanted to manipulate seats, he could have.
Okay.
See, the game is this: how you manipulate tickets, how you manage to get your people into the game, and when you do that, and I think DK Shivakumar was concentrating how to get the party win, and that I think was his defect.
Okay.
And here's somebody who's been manipulating.
So let me ask Smita Prakash this. I keep coming back to this point. Where is DK Shivakumar getting the power to dig his heels in? Yes, he did work hard. Nobody is begrudging him that. But at the end of the day, the leader of the majority party is the one who has the support of the majority of the MLAs. And clearly, in this case, if he doesn't have that, how is he supposed to take all of them along and run a government?
How do you know he doesn't, Zaka?
Well, there are multiple media reports, Aishwarya, and it's not a 50-50 number. The last number I saw was 90 out of 135. That's 2/3 of the MLAs. That's not a 55-45 situation. But anyway, Smita Prakash.
Yeah, Zaka, I think if you go by the letter of the law, yes, the numbers matter. And if Siddaramaiah has the numbers, then he I guess gets it. And as a democratic exercise, that would seem fair. But there are more things at play out here. Everybody knows that. It's more than just the numbers, The problem also with the Congress party is that it's a problem of plenty. They have a lot of talent in their bench strength. Their bench strength is strong in Karnataka. And as far as DK Shivakumar is concerned, I think Zaka, the thing is that he kind of worked so hard to rejuvenate this party. He meticulously planned the entire process of winning this election when Congress was down and out, and to actually, not just erase the stigma of corruption for the Congress, but to slap on the stigma of corruption on the BJP was an enormous task. If you remember, Manmohan Singh's government failed and fell because of that stigma of corruption. And Manmohan Singh went on record to say that it was a matter of perception. And here DK Shivakumar worked, he and his brother just planned and recreated the imaging of the Congress party. In doing that, I think Tom is right. He probably didn't spend enough time to gather support of these MLAs, to look at who the ticket distribution is. And, Siddaramaiah has concentrated on that aspect maybe. I think DK Shivakumar comes across as somebody who's a refreshing politician in saying that he didn't hide his aspirations, that he wanted to be chief minister. He doesn't come from this old guard who say, na baba, main to nahi banna chahta chief minister. No, I don't want to be prime minister. Here's a person who doesn't see ambition as something being negative.
Okay.
He's absolutely been upfront and forthright in that he wants to be chief minister. And the other point which Pallavi picked up is when she said that the Congress will expect that the Congress High Command or the leadership will expect the Congress unit of Karnataka to deliver the same kind of numbers in 2024. Do you think DK Shivakumar is going to work just as hard and plan this campaign for 2024 just as hard if he's diddled off this chief ministership? I mean, I'm not saying that he will be a rebel or something like that, but the steam will go out of him because I'm nobody to say he deserves to be chief minister. It's for the Congress party to decide. But I think it's unfair to put somebody in the dock just because he was working as a backroom person.
Okay, so Nalin Mehta, again, obviously MLA support is one consideration. Who has energized the party cadre has to be a consideration, I guess, as Aishwarya said. But one of the things that people continually talk about is, even when you go back to the exit polls, the opinion polls, when they were asking ordinary people chief ministerial choice, there seemed to be daylight between the number of the percentage of people who were saying Siddaramaiah as compared to the ones who were saying DK Shivakumar. Now, all of this is public perception. Public perception can be changed, but it is an important marker. I mean, I think one of the surveys said 40% was Siddaramaiah's acceptability amongst the electorate as the number one choice for CM, whereas for DK it was only 4%.
That's right, Zaka, and that's the conundrum for the Congress. I think this is a difficult one for the Congress. They've had a historic victory, the biggest in 40 years. Talking to DK Shivakumar earlier, he is very, very convinced that he should be the chief minister, and this has been the case even before the campaign started. In the end, I think you should go with who the MLAs largely go with. I think that's what would be the right thing to do. Because the Congress will have to find a way in which it manages the one who doesn't make it, whether it is DK Shivakumar or Siddaramaiah. At the moment, at least all the surveys indicate, and at least some of the information, if it is correct, of what the MLAs voted for in that secret ballot is Siddaramaiah. I agree with what Smita was saying. This will be, we've seen in the past, it's completely legitimate for different political leaders to have chief ministerial ambitions, and I think it's perfectly okay for DK Shivakumar to voice those ambitions publicly. But I think the challenge with the Congress will be that if you're going to have a disgruntled leader, how do you manage it up to 2024 and so on? Maybe you have a 50-50 arrangement, maybe all of those things, but it's a difficult challenge.
Talking about 2024, and Riju Datta is there with us. Riju Datta, the West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee said, perhaps after the results in Karnataka and the way it was a pretty decisive mandate for the Congress party, that the formula should be that wherever the Congress is strong, we will leave it alone, and wherever we are strong, the Congress should leave us alone. Why do you believe that this will be acceptable to all parties, including the Congress? The Congress can turn around and say they are a player in Bengal.
Thank you, Zaka. And not after the Karnataka elections, much before the Karnataka elections, Mamata Banerjee said that the regional parties who are strong in their own bastion has proven time and again that they have defeated BJP. Whether it is Mr. Stalin, whether it is AAP in Punjab or Delhi, whether it is Trinamool Congress in West Bengal, it is a fact. So in that scenario, Ms. Mamata Banerjee said that the Congress, who has a direct contest with the BJP on 150 or 200 odd seats, should give importance and the due respect to the regional players who are very strong in their own backyard to take BJP head on. And similarly, wherever Congress is strong, we will support them. But
no, but Riju, how will that work? I mean, why should the Congress party settle for contesting just 200 seats out of 543? And out of that 200, if you expect the Congress to come back with returns of 100, it means they have to win 1 out of every 2 seats that they contest.
So then, if that is the argument that even the Congress will have, like in Bengal, I come from Bengal. In Bengal, the Congress is in an unholy nexus with the CPM, whereas in the recently concluded Karnataka elections, the CPM fought against the Congress. So Congress needs to sort it out, what they want, and under the able leadership of Mr. Adit Chaudhary, Congress was a big zero in Bengal polls. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. Now they have 1 MLA out of 294. So
no,
I think
as per your formula, out of the 42 Lok Sabha seats in Bengal, Congress contests what? One, Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, the capable leader, as you put it, or two seats. That's it. The rest of the 40 seats, they don't fight.
No. I believe during the Lok Sabha elections, the Congress should sit with Trinamool Congress and decide, because I believe they have two Lok Sabha MPs right now. One is Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, one from Malda, which is up in North Bengal. But out of these two seats, Congress is basically irrelevant in Bengal. So they should come to, like I said, the onus is on them. They should open a dialogue with
again,
us.
The logic of it beats me, because why should the Congress say, okay, we'll only fight 2 or 4 seats in Bengal? Why wouldn't they contest in all 42?
No,
Similarly,
Zaka,
if that same logic, no, I believe Akhilesh Yadav also supported this formula. So by that same logic, Congress will only fight from Amethi and Raebareli out of 80 seats in Uttar Pradesh. Why would they contest in the remaining 78? I don't see the Congress party or any party agreeing to such a formula.
Zaka, just let me finish. I just want to say this, that what is the main goal? The main goal is BJP Mukt Bharat in 2024. So all the like-minded parties to find a common ground. If the Congress contests Trinamool Congress in Bengal, and that gives some sort of leverage to BJP, then obviously we cannot help the Congress. Like I said, they are the people who are fighting BJP in over 200 seats. So it's onus is on them to open a dialogue with all the regional players.
Okay, Aishwarya Mahadev, would that be acceptable to the Congress party? One of the concerns for non-Congress, non-BJP parties like TMC or Aam Aadmi Party, BRS, etc. is, this verdict has once again reinforced their worst fears, which is that the Congress will now claim that it's the fulcrum of the opposition, it is the big brother, so on and so forth. And they can turn around and say, if you can't sort out between Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar for over 3 or 4 days, how are you going to sort out with myriad opposition parties?
To extrapolate a process of choosing a chief minister to the larger 2024 plank is one. I do not think a corollary or something that should be done, one, Zaka. And the second thing is, for all political parties, regional, however big, large, whatever their presence, this is about not only 2024, but this is about the survival of political parties and political opposition in a democracy, as you have seen. And it's a certain amount of inevitability that these political parties come together to work, and you need to have a fulcrum. The modalities, the terms and conditions, I'm sure over time will be evolved, and we have a very, very mature leader in the form of Shri Mallikarjun Kharge at the helm of our party, who I'm sure is a very acceptable face to play that role.
But
I
is
think
this
the
a formula
modalities
that would be acceptable to the Congress? Like in Bengal, they contest just 2 seats. In UP, they just contest 2 seats. And of course, in the states where you're strong, you contest all seats. That's acceptable?
Zaka, it's a 9-month-long process. I'm sure there are various versions of how regional parties and the Congress should contest, how all the opposition parties should contest and whatnot. It is not for media channels to sit and put out an entire political strategy. I am not to tell you what is acceptable to me, what is not. But the idea, the larger plank and my limited point is that the opposition parties need to find a way of fruitfully having an alliance with each other, because overlapping vote banks tends to leave neither of us the beneficiary in the larger picture.
Okay, so let me ask Tom Vadakan this. Now, many are saying that this sort of sets the template for the upcoming assembly elections in Chhattisgarh, in Rajasthan, in Madhya Pradesh, where again, it's not like the BJP's corner is all hunky-dory. In Chhattisgarh, I don't know if you have found an able sort of challenger to Bhupesh Baghel. Raman Singh is still very much active, refusing to let go. The generational change that should have happened in your state unit has not happened. In Rajasthan, the less said, the better. There are any number of claimants to be the next chief minister. And again, you can't seem to be able to get rid of or sideline or retire the Maharani, Vasundhara Raje Scindia. Madhya Pradesh, maybe opposition is slightly better than the other 2 states. But it's not like the BJP is bereft of any of these problems that the Congress is currently going through in Karnataka.
Look, political processes have complications, but then our leadership has the capacity to sort it out. And that is the confidence we have in our Prime Minister, and that he has that impression, that he has that aura that can take control of situations and find solutions to problems. Now look at this Bengal situation. The caveat that comes from Mamta is like, She had to give a congratulatory message to Congress, and she should have left it at that. Instead, she puts a caveat: you fight where you have the strength, and that means you don't have strength in Bengal, so you can take a walk. Close down the PCC office and all the officials there, and we will take care of it. I mean, these things don't work. We know how to manage and tackle. We have had a problem in Karnataka. We are now on the drawing board on it, and believe me, we will sort it out. And the way this is going, I think we will be in a better position, the opposition, and drawing blood at the appropriate moment when this ATM Sarkar gets into functional
By the way, just as much as all of this drama on who's going to be the next chief minister is playing itself out on national television, I suspect there will be some drama on what's the next gen leadership in Karnataka BJP as well. Who's going to be the state president, who's going to be the leader of the opposition. May not play out in such full public glare, but be that as it may. Smita Prakash, one of the points that the DK camp is sort of feeding to press persons and others is, look, Siddaramaiah has already been chief minister once, he's been leader of the opposition twice, and he's not really a dyed-in-the-wool congressman. He came to the Congress only in 2006, whereas DK has been a lifelong congressman. Does that argument cut ice?
To a certain extent, yes, that DK Shivakumar rose from the ranks. He's essentially a real congressman as compared to Siddaramaiah, who was an import. But if you see Karnataka politics, I think almost 40% or something, I don't know the exact number, but I think 40% of the people in all the parties are those who have moved from one to the other. So it's not held against them by the electorate. And I don't think a political party also holds it against anybody for being an import for that matter. About the BJP, you're right. I think there's going to be a purge there because they have to. If nothing else, sort themselves out after the mess that they've created with this loss. You also brought about this point about the Congress being the fulcrum in a united opposition. If you see the opposition as a single unit at this stage, it's not yet one. But if you were to see it that by 2024, if it was to morph into a unit, will Congress be the fulcrum? My thinking so far is that the number of times this has been attempted by political parties and failed to happen, the only way out is because, by saying Kharge or Pawar or Mamta or any of these people, and even Nitish to that extent, I don't think any of them are acceptable as somebody who can make this. The Congress is on a high. It is certainly going to be the largest unit in this united opposition. But as far as the fulcrum is concerned, they just need an outside strategist to come and tell them to keep emotions out of this, because politics is a highly emotional game. If they were to bring emotions into it in the next state elections and let it shadow their relationships as a united opposition, they certainly will not be able to challenge the BJP, which is going to learn from its lessons from the Karnataka mess and bring and energize their cadres as far as 2024 is concerned.
No, but Nalin, again, leaving emotions aside, if you were to just go by pure, cold, hard logic, how will you pitch this to the Congress that if this is the, opposition united formula where the parties that are strongest to take on the BJP in each of the 543 constituencies, you find that party and you feel that candidate, and every other opposition party then backs that candidate. So, like I said, by that logic, Congress should not be contesting any more than 2 seats in UP. How will you sell it? How will you sell this idea?
I think it's a very difficult idea to sell because a Congress with its tail up, a Congress which has just done so well in Karnataka, will feel that it's got the wind behind its back. I think in states where the Congress is very insignificant, it can still live with being on the margins in terms of ticket distribution. But in states where the Congress is important, it's going to find it very difficult. I think the idea about opposition unity is this. It's much more easier to create the idea of opposition unity is much more easier to create a post-poll alliance or even a pre-poll alliance. But when you have a Janta style, a Janta akin kind of one common opposition candidate, the micro detail is going to be killing. And I think it's a very difficult thing to do.
You know, the presumption there is that the votes of all the other opposition parties will transfer to one candidate of one party. That we've seen, you know, it is not necessarily translated on ground. But let me ask Aishwarya Mahadev, I want to come back to the whole Karnataka story where we started with. There are 2 points that people in the Siddaramaiah camp say about Mr. DK. One is that he is even now by and large seen as a leader of one caste, one of the dominant castes, the Vokaligas, and maybe has influence in 3 or 4 districts in Old Mysore, whereas the other gentleman, Mr. Siddaramaiah, is seen as a pan-Karnataka leader. The other point that they make is, you know, Mr. DK Shivakumar, and even he acknowledges this, has so many cases that have been filed against him by IT, ED, CBI, etc., that if he were to become chief minister, and then 6 months down the line, let's say 3 months before the Lok Sabha, if a sitting chief minister was to be arrested on corruption charges, that's not a terribly good look for the Congress party going into the Lok Sabha election.
Zaka, I think the Congress has a problem of plenty, where we have 2 amazingly experienced and capable leaders that are contending for the top post. They have worked on the plank of collective leadership. They have been assisted by everybody else in the organization, and I think we crafted and scripted history in this. And I think the process will largely tell you who will or will not. On the second point, let me just remind you that if there was that much water with the cases against Mr. DK Shivakumar, do you really believe in the Karnataka elections that the BJP could not have taken action? That over the years that they could not have, even after they took him out of jail, if you look at the Panchnama and if you look at exactly how long it took for them to charge sheet, you realize the political vendetta of it. And a large part of it is also a scheming that has come out to try and, you know, create a little bit of hindrance or a perception of a hindrance for Mr. DK Shivakumar's bid for chief ministership. But I think well and good, when they made him PCC president, they were aware of this. When they gave him the helm of affairs to basically run your strategy for the elections, they were aware of this. I'm very sure when they give him authority in whatever sense and form also, they're also very aware of it and the ramifications of it. But Zaka, and the larger part of it, we all know for a fact that how politically motivated a lot of these cases are, and I don't think any of this is going to be a hindrance whatsoever. Let's look at it for what it is. There are 2 extremely capable CM faces, both front runners. It is a choice for the High Command to prioritize and reward who they believe is a deserving candidate, and that's about it.
Okay. Tom Vadakan, final word, and I'm getting a piece of breaking news as well. Tom, it's an internal matter of the Congress party. 3 days is not a long time in politics. They've won a historic mandate. Give them 3 or 5, however long it takes for them to come to a consensus on who the best man is to lead the state of Karnataka.
We will give them all the time in the world to form a government, but they need to reply to the people of Karnataka, look, we are going to take on the saddle of governance as soon as possible. Now, as to the question of who amongst these 2 will make it finally, it is a situation like Rajasthan or maybe Punjab, where I think the time is ticking, and well, we'll watch the game very closely, because this is a case of a person who has given all his lifetime for bringing up the party, and the last minute he is told to sidestep because there are cases or whatever is pending against him. And if you have decided your mind, why don't you say that outright, and why are you taking 3 days?
Okay. All right, we'll leave it at that. It's quite piquant. Tom, a BJP spokesperson, batting or making a case out for why DK Shivakumar, the loyal congressman, should be considered this time. But we'll leave it at that. We'll go to a piece of breaking news that's coming in. KC Venugopal, the powerful organizing general secretary of the Congress party, has now arrived at the residence of Mr. Kharge. Remember, Siddaramaiah had just met Mr. Venugopal at his residence just about an hour or so ago. So now high-level meetings happening at Mr. Kharge's residence. The ball, in a sense, is in Mr. Kharge's court. He has met with separately both DK Shivakumar as well as Siddaramaiah. He's heard them out. He also knows the views of the MLAs. It's just a question of him now coming out and making that announcement. So let me go to Pallavi Ghosh. What's being discussed there between KC Venugopal and Mallikarjun Kharge, and really what's the hold up? Mr. Kharge is an insider here. He's from the state of Karnataka. He knows both DK and Mr. Siddaramaiah like the back of his hand. What's the delay here?
So the decision will not be taken only by Mr. Kharge alone, though he's the Congress president. So clearly there's KC Venugopal, Randeep Surjewala inputs coming in from Rahul Gandhi. See, there are two things which are being discussed. One, of course, immediately the CM face has to be announced. But more importantly, and I think the most critical, this is what we've been talking about since morning, is the government formation. There's been a wish list of sorts given by Rahul Gandhi. That is also something which is being sorted out, because depending on that, will also be a clarity on who becomes the chief minister. Now, for example, if Siddaramaiah becomes the CM, then you'll also have to compensate by giving DK Shivakumar a very meaty portfolio. But at the same time, there are other people like G. Parmeshwara, there is MP Patil, women, SC, ST, Muslims. All of them have to be accommodated, and that is what is proving to be a headache. Essentially, we expect another round of meeting tomorrow. Different inputs are being taken. Siddaramaiah, we may know, met KC Venugopal, he's meeting Randeep Surjewala. So his point of view is going to be given to both of them. And whatever has been spoken to KC Venugopal is now being conveyed to Mallikarjun Kharge. The ultimate call will also, of course, be taken by a team of three, which is Kharge, Venugopal, as well as Randeep Surjewala. But clearly, the Gandhi is also being kept in the loop.
So DK's contention has been that he doesn't want this, power sharing formula or transfer of chief ministership after 2 years or 2.5 years. He's clearly against that. And we're given to understand that he's also not amenable to this whole idea of deputy chief minister. He'd rather just be an ordinary MLA. Or is that just posturing?
I don't know. I do speak to top Congress sources over here, and they said this is something which has never ever been conveyed to us by DK Shivakumar. He hasn't shown any reservation about not taking this post or not taking that particular portfolio. But clearly, there's a loyalty factor, and DK Shivakumar in that sense is someone which the Gandhi family, particularly Sonia Gandhi, will always be, kind of grateful for. But the value and importance of DK Shivakumar doesn't end with the end of Karnataka elections. They are Lok Sabha elections. The Congress wants to do well. 15 to 20 seats at least is what they are looking at. And for that, DK Shivakumar becomes extremely critical and important factor. So I don't think the Gandhis or anyone from the Congress party at this point of Zaka can afford to anger or, distance themselves. But Congress is very categorically telling me that, we have not faced any threat, no blackmailing, nothing has come from DK Shivakumar so far. But we do also understand that he has his ambitions, which anyone is allowed to have.
And very quickly, I believe that you had put out this information in the afternoon also about Rahul Gandhi saying that we have a Lok Sabha election to fight and Karnataka is an important state. And to that extent, they do need DK Shivakumar and his organizing ability and his ability to, mobilize the cadre and so on and so forth. So if they were to offer him some plum portfolio or senior cabinet position and he accepts that, the Congress party, the High Command is okay with him being both that as well as KPCC president?
It is one man, one post is something I don't think the Congress party will have a problem with. We saw them breaking that rule when it came to Madhya Pradesh, where Kamal Nath was both the chief minister and the PCC chief for a long, long time. And as I said, the Karnataka electoral results are important not only because of the big win they've given to the Congress, but that's the calculation. States where we are in power, we're going to try and get the maximum number of Lok Sabha seats. And therefore, they're looking at Karnataka, at least 15 to 20 seats. That's what they're looking at. And they do understand that DK Shivakumar is someone who is going to be very, very integral to this plan.
All right. We'll leave it at that, Pallavi Ghosh. We'll see how this plays out for the Congress. The longer it continues, the sort of glory of the victory kind of gets reduced by a notch or two, because you would expect that the Congress would have settled this issue even before the verdict came in as to who amongst these two men will be made chief minister and what the power sharing formula is. But let's move on now to the other story. And at least 9 people, I'm afraid, are dead and several injured in an explosion that happened at a factory in Egra in West Bengal. Reports suggest that the blast took place inside an illegal firecracker factory. The case has now been handed over to the Bengal CID. The BJP is demanding an NIA investigation, claiming there was a bomb-making factory linked to the TMC. BJP President Shukanta Majumdar has written a letter to Home Minister Amit Shah demanding an NIA investigation. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has said that action will be taken against the accused. He also further said that she does not have a problem with the NIA investigating the matter, but slammed the BJP for playing politics. So what is the truth behind this tragedy in Egra? Was it an industrial accident, or are there more nefarious designs at play? Riju Datta of the TMC joining us, and Priyanka Tibrewal of the Bengal BJP is also joining us. Riju, the contention by the BJP, and you've seen Shukanta Majumdar's letter, that this was a bomb-making factory. There were similar incidents in this factory. earlier on as well, and the owner of the factory, who has TMC leanings, was allowed to get away scot-free, and he shouldn't be this time. That's why the BJP wants an NIA probe. How will you respond?
Zaka, I want to make it very clear and put it on record that it was an accident. Whatever happened today is a very hurtful accident in an illegal firecracker factory. The main accused, who's supposedly the owner of this factory, was arrested by the Bengal police a couple of years ago, and he was released on bail. I will also say this, that the people at the opposition parties, i.e. the BJP, who's demanding us NIA probe into this, because almost 9 people have lost their lives, the Chief Minister of West Bengal has said we welcome the NIA probe in this matter. We have nothing against it. But people who are playing politics over dead bodies, I just want to remind them that this particular area, the Gram Panchayat, is BJP. This particular area is in East Mednapur, which is supposedly the bastion of the Adhikari family. That is the leader of opposition, Mr. Shubhendu Adhikari. So here you can say that the local police should have taken note of this illegal factory. The local IC has to answer a lot of questions. That is why the Honorable Chief Minister has issued a show cause notice against him. But giving it a political color, which is a misfortune and accident, is the lowest of low vulture.
So Priyanka Tibrewal, on what basis are you claiming that this was an illegal bomb-making factory and that the person arrested has connections to the TMC? At the end of the day, what Riju Datta is saying is that East Midnapur is the home district of your leader of the opposition. I mean, surely he should have known if an illegal factory is running in his backyard.
Actually, the sad part is to see that Mamata Banerjee has stayed for a quite long time as an opposition. So Mr. Datta is also having the same habit of still behaving as he's the opposition. And let me remind him that he's in government here. So if anything is happening right under their nose, the law and order is in their hand to handle. It is a state subject. Now, if they say that everything is happening under their nose and they are unable to do anything, then there is definitely a failure in their government. You see, sir, there are incriminating evidences why we are saying so, and it is a matter of investigation. It will all come out. But if the investigation is done by the CID and the police, then definitely everything will be washed off and nothing will come out. Now he's saying that, it is accidents. Accidents are so prone under this government from 2011 till 23. I'll just give you a few examples. The bomb explosion of 2022, PS Khejuri in Purva Madnapur. What happened? That was also an accident. Bomb explosion took place in the house of a TMC leader. It exploded in his house. That was also an accident. What were bombs doing in a TMC leader's house? Now that is the question. Now see, thereafter 21 explosions in Murshidabad, 2020, Bairakpur.
But ma'am, you do realize, and you're a lawyer, you do realize that if the NIA has to take over a case, there has to be a terror angle. It has to be a scheduled offence. What is the terror angle here? Why would a factory owner create this whole thing, and the people who've died are his employees, are his factory workers?
Correct. Now, this is a matter of investigation, that what kind of crackers, as they are saying, but actually they weren't crackers, they were bombs. That is the reason that 8 people lost their lives. What kind of big crackers they were making that the entire explosion, such a huge explosion took place, that, there were more than 8 to 9 dead bodies on the ground. So all this is during the investigation only it can come out. And if the initial investigation is done by the Bengal police, they'll wash off everything.
Okay, so Riju Datta, why are you reluctant to give it to the NIA? I mean, if you have nothing to hide, the Chief Minister is saying that, anyone is free to investigate this. Why is the Bengal government reluctant to give this to the NIA?
Zaka, first of all, you know that the Honorable Chief Minister of the state said that we welcome an NIA investigation. Now, there are 3 ways that NIA can do this investigation. 1, if the state asks for it. 2nd, if the opposition parties get a court order. Or 3, if NIA takes suo motu cognizance. So either way, we welcome it. But my question is this. Ms. Priyanka Tibrewal, who's a lawyer by profession, she is saying that everything will come out in the investigation. So let the investigation, turn out.
No, but she has no faith in a Bengal CID investigation.
I said not by your police. I said not by your state police.
Please finish. Priyanka. I am saying she is the leader. They are the primary opposition party. It is the duty of the opposition party is not to have faith in the law and order situation of the ruling government. That's the nature of the beast. But what I am trying to say is, rather than making it political, why can't you go and get a court order or ask NIA?
Riju, you know, this is not an isolated incident. We've seen, you know, incidences of these bombs going off in factories that were seemingly owned by people who have connections to the TMC. All of them have been made out to be like some illegal cracker factory. It was a cracker burst. It was an accident, so on and so forth. One of them was inside the house of a TMC leader. You know, surely questions need to be asked as to why bombs are going off in factories and homes owned by TMC folks.
Zaka, I will also, try to jog your memory that when an ex-MP of BJP, Mr. Arjun Singh, when he was in the BJP, there was some chocolate bombs that were thrown at his door, and there was an NIA investigation by the BJP. Now he has come over to TMC. Nobody knows what happened to the NIA investigation. Our minister, Zakir Hussain...
I will apprise you regarding the same.
Let me just... मैं finish कर लूँ आप फिर बोलिए. You know, our minister, Mr. Zakir Hussain, he was targeted. He almost lost a leg and couple of people died. That was also under NIA investigation. We still don't know what has happened. Again, I will say that we welcome an investigation, NIA investigation, but always remember this. If law and order is a state subject, the ruling party of the state will never do anything untoward because the onus will come on them. So please do not do vulture politics on every misfortune, every accident where innocent people have lost their lives. That is only my humble submission.
Okay, Priyanka Tibrewal, you are behaving like political vultures. You are dancing on the dead bodies of these people is the accusation from the TMC.
Sir, these people who are losing their lives are falling prey to the entire illegal activities which are being practiced by the TMC and their leaders. Now, a few months back, there were electronic detonators which were seized from West Bengal. There were a number of places where crude bombs were seized. And we had heard the Chief Minister saying that, do more and more raids so that you can catch out, the more and more crude bombs can come out. When the Chief Minister herself knows that this trade is going in West Bengal, then tell me why is she unable to stop it? Because as the syndicate of cut money is practiced here, from top to bottom, all are involved in this. And the Chief Minister, knowing very well, also doesn't have the audacity to control her party and her leaders. Okay.
Riju Datta?
Okay. Yes. I will remind Ms. Priyanka Tibrewal and your viewers that 8 months ago, the Chief Minister of West Bengal, who is also the Home Minister, has advised all the police to do a combing search throughout West Bengal for illegal arms and bombs, which Priyanka ji just mentioned. Now, all the incidents where bombs, pistols, illegal weapons have been collected, which Ms. Tibrewal is mentioned, is because of the work of Bengal police. If they have not caught it, if the media wouldn't have reported it, you wouldn't have come to know about it. So Bengal police is doing an exemplary job. Please accept that.
No.
You can do your politics, but don't put a finger on Bengal police.
It was after the explosions took place. It was after the bombs were hurled at Pawan Singh's house. It was after one of the cases was handed over to the NIA in 2023. Then Mamata Banerjee was forced to say this. And then you see thereafter, every day this has happened. And in parks and gardens, children were playing and there were bomb blasts.
Okay.
In a school's roof,
let's see how this plays out in Bengal, because clearly you don't want to have a situation. Sorry, I'm out of time. You don't want to have a situation where political parties are sort of settling scores with bombs going off and weapons being flung at each other and so on. So let's get to the bottom of what exactly happened in Egra. And perhaps for that, an independent investigation is required. We'll see how the story plays out, whether it is done through the courts or through the investigating agencies. For the moment, we're going back to the Karnataka story, where the drama is still continuing on who will become Chief Minister. We're getting some latest information that Sonia Gandhi, the tall leader of the Congress party, the former AICC president, she's returning to Delhi tomorrow Currently, she is in Shimla in Himachal Pradesh. A decision on who will be the Chief Minister will be taken in the afternoon after final consultations with Sonia Gandhi, before which the High Command, which I'm presuming here is Mr. Kharge and perhaps even Mr. Venugopal, they will once again call on both the PCC President, that is Mr. DK Shivakumar, and the CLP leader, that is Mr. Siddaramaiah. So I guess one way or the other, we are likely to get a decision on who the Chief Minister will be tomorrow. Let me go across to Harish, who has more details on this. So DK has been banking for a long time on his loyalty and his personal commitment to Sonia Gandhi. I believe she is coming back tomorrow morning. I don't know if he'll get a chance to meet her, but she will be apprised and she will give the final go-ahead as to which of these two gentlemen becomes Chief Minister. How and why is that so critical for DK's claims at the top job?
Well, Zaka, DK's only hope is Sonia Gandhi. Remember the first statement that he gives out the moment the Congress gets majority. He gets emotional and he says, one of the most emotional days for me was when Sonia Gandhi met me at Tihar jail. So he's played up that card every time. He's spoken about the loyalty towards the party and Gandhi family. And he understands very well that it's the last hope for him, that Sonia Gandhi is the only hope she can get him the Chief Minister's post. And that's why yesterday also his camp kept telling us that the reason he's not going to Delhi is because they know that Sonia Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi are away in Shimla. And they said, what's the point going there if they're not there? And tomorrow they would be hoping that they get a time with Sonia Gandhi to meet her and talk to her. But they're really hoping that she backs DK Shivakumar this time round.
And very quickly, if they were to, let's say, use the age factor and say, okay, DK has a better claim, he's also a more loyal congressman, as it were, because he's been with the Congress since he entered active politics. And if they were to, let's say, go above and beyond the majority MLA's views, which clearly seems to be with Siddaramaiah, what sort of risk do they run? Because ultimately, they could be accused of doing the same thing that the BJP did to Yediyurappa, which is to sideline a tall leader.
Yes, that's true. But in this case, Siddaramaiah has already declared that this will be his last election. But he will make it extremely difficult for the Congress government here and the party's prospects in 2024. Remember, a lot of people accuse him of playing a role in destabilizing the JDS Congress government that was there between 2018 and 2019. And a majority of those MLAs, or at least 5 to 6 of those MLAs who switched sides, were seen as Siddu loyalists, MLAs who were always with him. And that's why whether it's DK Shivakumar or other Congress leaders always suspect that Siddu brought down that government because he wasn't comfortable with the idea of H.D. Kumaraswamy continuing as Chief Minister. So he won't make it easy for the Congress government. Let's also look at his history. He's somebody who left the JDS and joined the Congress because he said that Devegowdas were not allowing him to flourish and grow further. So he's not somebody who's seen as being loyal to the party. He'll always make it difficult for the Congress, even if he doesn't quit the party.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Harish Upadhyay, many thanks for joining us with that report and your perspective. I guess finally this three-day drama will get over tomorrow once Sonia Gandhi returns to Delhi. And hopefully the High Command gets to hear from both DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah once again. That's a wrap. Thanks very much for tuning in. I'll catch you again tomorrow night, same time. Good night.
What's going on in the Congress party? They say that Sonia Gandhi never said this, and we did scan the speech. She hasn't quite said this. Then why did you put it up on a tweet, and why are you sticking to that tweet?
There are 2 states, that is Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh, which have declared that this movie will be tax-free. But the criticism is only growing. And there are also likes of Jitendra Awad, who says that they should be hanged for defaming the women of Kerala.
Congress party has said 32,000 kaha tha, 3 nikle. This is nothing but BJP propaganda.
Are you telling me the Congress position is that 3 lives are disposable? It is okay for 3 girls to have been entrapped by a terrorist organization?
your party workers and supporters are targeting not so much the PDM government or Shahbaz Sharif, they're actually directly targeting the army. Are you now openly challenging the authority of the army to maintain law and order on the streets of Pakistan?
Leadership, all of whom are consultatively sending their reports into the Congress president. I believe all of these form an important role because each of these MLAs are what they are because of the fact that the cadre and the workers also back them.
Okay,
You saw in certain states
my
that
only sort of limited
Yes.
point there, I think, the MLAs are representatives of the people. The people chose the MLAs, and the MLAs choosing the leader is de facto the people choosing who the
Congress
leader is.
workers
I don't
help
think
the
the workers
MLAs
or the general secretaries necessarily have a say in that. But anyway, be that as it may, maybe in the Congress the processes are different. But Tom Vadakan, Tom Vadakan, the point is that, why are you begrudging the Congress the 3 days that they've taken? You took 1 week to elect Yogi Adityanath. Similar was the case when Himanta Biswa Sarma was made Chief Minister. It took you days to come to that conclusion. So why are you begrudging the Congress? At the end of the day, the big picture is the Congress trounced the BJP. Today, the Congress has got a historic mandate of 135, and BJP is at a distant second with 65.
Zaka, we have no problem with whatever time they take, but let them come with a chief minister who can govern the state. We have given them a state with a good treasury accounting, and we do hope and pray that the finances of the state are handled properly. Nothing more, nothing more to be said about it. But here we heard the Congress spokesman talking about a particular procedure. I've also been part of that gimmick exercise of selection processes. But ultimately, it is who has the largest number of MLAs that matters.
Yeah.
But then there is this irony that how is a particular person given the opportunity of having larger MLAs? This is something that we have not been able to understand. And as far as DK Shivakumar goes, he's a loyal person and he has not left any party and come back. He has done the hard work, and naturally it is. He's also. He's worked so hard for this. And when it comes to all this activity, because I remember Siddaramaiah at the time, he joined the party at a stage when we were on the same stage when he joined, and he's a person who's joined the party, and here's a man who's given everything for the party, and yet when it comes to the top seat, you have excuses because you know that he was not given an opportunity. If he wanted to manipulate seats, he could have.
Okay.
See, the game is this: how you manipulate tickets, how you manage to get your people into the game, and when you do that, and I think DK Shivakumar was concentrating how to get the party win, and that I think was his defect.
Okay.
And here's somebody who's been manipulating.
So let me ask Smita Prakash this. I keep coming back to this point. Where is DK Shivakumar getting the power to dig his heels in? Yes, he did work hard. Nobody is begrudging him that. But at the end of the day, the leader of the majority party is the one who has the support of the majority of the MLAs. And clearly, in this case, if he doesn't have that, how is he supposed to take all of them along and run a government?
How do you know he doesn't, Zaka?
Well, there are multiple media reports, Aishwarya, and it's not a 50-50 number. The last number I saw was 90 out of 135. That's 2/3 of the MLAs. That's not a 55-45 situation. But anyway, Smita Prakash.
Yeah, Zaka, I think if you go by the letter of the law, yes, the numbers matter. And if Siddaramaiah has the numbers, then he I guess gets it. And as a democratic exercise, that would seem fair. But there are more things at play out here. Everybody knows that. It's more than just the numbers, The problem also with the Congress party is that it's a problem of plenty. They have a lot of talent in their bench strength. Their bench strength is strong in Karnataka. And as far as DK Shivakumar is concerned, I think Zaka, the thing is that he kind of worked so hard to rejuvenate this party. He meticulously planned the entire process of winning this election when Congress was down and out, and to actually, not just erase the stigma of corruption for the Congress, but to
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post, and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma.